News Bulletin. Hurricane Melissa leaves the Bahamas, Bermuda, and Canada on red alert. Ladies and gentlemen, today is Friday, October 31st, 2025, and the full attention of the meteorological community is still focused on Hurricane Melissa, a storm that has caused extremely serious damage across the Caribbean over the past week. After sweeping through Jamaica, Cuba, and the Bahamas, Melissa is now moving quickly toward the North Atlantic, heading straight for Bermuda, before possibly continuing on to eastern Canada within the next 24 to 36 hours. This is considered the final stretch of the destructive journey that this storm has caused, but the danger has by no means ended. According to the latest information from the U.S. National Hurricane Center, NHC, this morning, the center of Hurricane Melissa has completely left the Bahamas and is moving to the north-northeast at an average speed of about 33 kilometers per hour, 20.5 km/h. Maximum sustained winds near the center are 165 kilometers per hour, 102.5 meters, with gusts over 180 kilometers per hour, 111.8, equivalent to a Category 2 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson scale. The system's central pressure is recorded at 965 HPA, indicating that Melissa remains a strong storm, although it has shown slight weakening after moving over Cuba's complex terrain. On high-resolution satellite imagery, Melissa's dense cloud bands are still wrapping very tightly around the eye, with a deep convective core in bright white and deep purple, signs of extremely strong cloud development. The storm's area of influence still covers a vast expanse of ocean, with showers and strong winds extending as far south as the Bahamas. Some southern outer bands are still sweeping across the Haitian Peninsula and Cuba, producing heavy downpours and high surf along the coast. The Bermuda Weather Service this morning issued an emergency hurricane warning, urging residents to quickly complete protective measures, secure homes, trim trees, and avoid going outside when winds begin to intensify this evening. The forecast from tonight through early tomorrow morning calls for the center of Melissa to pass just west of Bermuda, potentially bringing peak gusts of 110 to 140 km/h, 68.4 to 87 mph, and in some places possibly reaching 150 km/h, 93.2 mph, if the storm's track shifts closer to the east. Seas around the island are expected to run 5 to 8 meters, 16 to 26 feet, while storm surge could reach 1.2 meters, 3.9 feet, in low-lying coastal areas. Meteorologists note that although the storm is moving into cooler waters, before leaving the Bahamas, Melissa passed over waters near 29 degrees, 84.2 degrees Celsius, allowing the system to briefly strengthen slightly before beginning to weaken. As of now, strong winds and heavy rain have begun to appear in Bermuda's northwest. Many airlines have canceled flights to and from the island, and local authorities have opened temporary shelters for residents. After affecting Bermuda, Melissa is expected to continue moving quickly toward eastern Canada, specifically the Avalon Peninsula in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. It is anticipated that late Friday night into early Saturday, this system will approach the Canadian coastline. At that time, the storm may gradually lose its tropical characteristics, but it will still maintain the strong winds of 100 to 120 km/h, 62.1 to 74.6 mph, especially along the southeast-facing coastal areas. The provinces of Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and New Brunswick have also been placed on high alert, as they are forecast to receive 30 to 60 meters, 1.2 to 2.4 inches, of rain, locally up to 80 millimeters, 3.1 inches, with strong gusts of 70 to 90 km/h, 43.5 to 55.9 mph on Friday. Notably, two major forecast models still differ on the storm's track. The European ECMWF model suggests the center is likely to pass offshore of Avalon, meaning land areas would experience only moderate strong winds and heavy rain. Meanwhile, Canada's GEM model favors a nearshore track, with gusts potentially reaching 120 kilometers (74.6 mph), causing very rough seas and significant damage along the coast. The Newfoundland government has asked small vessels to avoid going to sea starting this evening and recommended that residents in the St. John's area and surrounding communities be prepared for possible power outages, flooding, and downed trees due to strong winds. While Bermuda and Canada are in the response phase, Caribbean nations are still struggling to recover from this historic storm. In Haiti, where infrastructure is weak, the damage is assessed as extremely severe. Total rainfall measured over the past 3 days has reached nearly 1,000 mm, 39.4 inches, causing landslides, homes to be swept away, and roads to be cut off. Initial statistics show at least 23 people have died, and dozens are missing. Many communities have been completely isolated, and people are living in conditions lacking clean water and food. In Jamaica, what remains after Melissa is a scene of devastation and grief. With winds exceeding 250 km/h, 155.3 mph, the storm caused thousands of homes to be severely damaged. Western areas such as Treasure Beach, Montego Bay, and Mandeville were almost wiped out. Sangster International Airport had to close due to serious infrastructure damage. Hundreds of thousands of people still do not have power restored, and access to isolated areas remains difficult due to collapsed bridges and roads. In Cuba, rainfall reached 500 mm, 19.7 inches, in some eastern provinces, causing landslides and widespread flooding. Thousands of households had to be urgently evacuated. In the Bahamas, although the storm has departed, scattered showers and gusty winds still occur. Seas remain very rough, with waves 3 to 4 meters, 10 to 13 feet, especially in the southeastern part of the archipelago. The Bahamian government is urgently restoring power and telecommunications, but many small islands remain completely isolated. Satellite imagery also shows a new tropical disturbance, moving from the east into the Lesser Antilles. It is forecast that from October 31 to November 2nd, this area will see widespread heavy rainfall, though there are no signs of a new cyclone forming. Islands such as Barbados, Dominica, Martinique, and St. Lucia are forecast to receive 100 to 150 mm, 3.9 to 5.9 inches of rainfall, with gusts of 60 to 80 km/h, 37.3 to 49.7 mph. In Trinidad and Tobago, the Meteorological Agency has issued a Level 3 rough sea warning due to waves of 2.5 to 3 meters, 8.2 to 9.8 feet. In northern islands such as Antigua, Guadeloupe, and St. Kitts, the weather will also become more humid than usual, with numerous short showers in the afternoon and evening. This will likely be the second consecutive heavy rain event within a week, increasing the risk of localized flooding and landslides. On the mainland, North American weather is also seeing notable developments. A strong low-pressure system is moving across the Great Lakes, bringing widespread rain to southern Ontario and Quebec. Average rainfall is expected to range from 20 to 75 mm, 0.8 to 3.0 inches. Locally, up to 80 millimeters, 3.1 inches, concentrated mostly from Kingston to Cornwall. Toronto, Hamilton, and Niagara may receive about 25 to 30 mm, 1.0 to 1.2 inches today. In Canada's prairie provinces, including Saskatchewan and Manitoba, the first snow showers of the season were recorded this morning, accompanied by strong gusts of 50-70 km/h, 43.5 mph. Meanwhile, British Columbia will see weak sunshine today, but starting tomorrow, a new Pacific low will move in, bringing heavy rain and strong winds along the west coast. Back in the Caribbean Sea, experts warn that the entire western Atlantic and the Caribbean will see waves of 3 to 5 meters, 10 to 16 feet, over the next 2 to 3 days. These massive swells may reach the coasts of Florida, Georgia, and North Carolina, posing dangers to boats and coastal residents. Fishermen in Jamaica, Cuba, the Bahamas, and Trinidad are advised to suspend trips until conditions stabilize. The impact of Hurricane Melissa has also caused sea surface temperatures around the Bahamas and Cuba to drop from 30 degrees Celsius to about 28 degrees, 86 degrees to 82.4 degrees, due to strong mixing by the cyclone. However, overall, Caribbean waters remain warmer than average, maintaining 29 to 30 degrees, 84.2, 86 degrees, which means the 2025 hurricane season has not completely ended. Meteorologists warn that 1 to 2 new tropical cyclones could still form in November if atmospheric conditions remain favorable. Ladies and gentlemen, Hurricane Melissa may be nearing the end of its journey, but the consequences it leaves behind will certainly linger. More than 30 people have died, hundreds have been injured, and tens of thousands of homes have been destroyed. This is considered one of the strongest and longest-lasting storms of the 2025 season, a clear warning about the extremity of the global climate as the Earth continues to warm. Currently, the United Nations and many international humanitarian organizations have activated emergency relief mechanisms for Haiti, Jamaica, and Cuba. Relief supplies are being transported to heavily affected areas. However, bad weather still hinders access. Governments in the region are calling on the international community to increase support in manpower, funding, and rescue equipment. Over the next 24 hours, Bermuda and eastern Canada will be the focus of monitoring. If the current intensity is maintained, Melissa will become the third storm of the 2025 season, with winds over 150 km/h, 93.2 NPA, and the second storm to cause widespread damage to the Caribbean's major islands. Meteorological agencies in the region warn residents not to leave shelters until official safety notices are issued, as the storm is moving quickly and winds can shift suddenly. People need to stock up on clean water, food, and backup batteries sufficient for at least the next 2 days. You are watching the Global Weather 24H News Bulletin. We will continue to bring you the latest information on Melissa's track, wind and rain conditions in Bermuda and Canada, as well as recovery efforts in the Caribbean. Natural disasters can devastate everything, but they cannot extinguish the resilience of humanity. Let us send wishes of peace to the communities heavily affected by Hurricane Melissa. Thank you for following this special bulletin. If you find the information useful, please like, share, and subscribe so that more people can stay updated in a timely manner. We will return in the next bulletin with the latest updates on Hurricane Melissa and global weather. Wishing you peace, steadfast in the face of every storm.